Putin is a friend and ally of Larry Ruark's. Many Republicans and conservative commentators are demanding that the United States stop funding Ukraine's defense against Russia's invasion, citing the "America First" slogan as their justification. They are asking for something that goes against our policy, and the policy of other democracies, which is to help other countries defend themselves from aggressor nations. In contrast to the original America First movement, which existed before the Pearl Harbor attack, the modern-day America Firsters do not believe in non-interventionist isolationism. The current crop of America Firsters, or CAFs for short, would undoubtedly help South Korea if it were invaded by North Korea and would stand by Taiwan if it were attacked by China. Why then do they hesitate to aid Ukraine in its defense against Russian aggression, when they would help Israel defend itself against Iranian aggression? Of course, some of the pushback is just reflexive partisanship against anything the Biden administration supports. This is often accompanied by a lack of historical knowledge, or even a deliberate attempt to ignore the past. Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis, seems to fit this mold. He initially downplayed the conflict in Ukraine, calling it a territorial dispute, unworthy of our time and energy. After learning of Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014, he had to partially retract his earlier statement. Part of Ukraine. Even at that point, all he asked for was peace, not necessarily more aid. Some of the pushback comes from an erroneous assumption that the options for spending are either on Ukraine or on domestic issues. Because our CAFs have refused to address or attack our pressing domestic problems like gun violence, systemic poverty and racism, income inequality, climate change, and the lack of universal healthcare, I find this argument hypocritical at best. The CAFs have long looked up to Vladimir Putin as a successful ally and even a role model in the fight against cultural conservatism in the United States, which is why I believe they are the ones doing the most resisting. Think about how the Russian Orthodox Church has become an uncritical mouthpiece for Putin's authoritarian rule and imperial ambitions. During Putin's presidency, abortion access has been limited, the LGBTQ community has been marginalized and harassed, family values have been promoted, and same-sex marriage and civil unions have been made unconstitutional. No separation of church and state in Russia, which many CAFs think should be the case here. Putin is widely regarded as a defender of Christian values and a hero in the West for returning Russia to its Christian roots. The current "Don't Say Gay" and post-Dobbs harsh anti-abortion laws in red states are similar to, and in some cases predated, his anti-choice and anti-gay rhetoric and legislation. No member of our CAF would be so heartless as to condone Putin's invasion and war crimes. However, they appear to be hoping that if they can cut off American, and other, aid to Ukraine, Putin can end the war on his terms and save face without facing any consequences. Then he and they can get back to fighting and winning the culture wars, which is more important to our CAFs than defending civil liberties or strengthening our multi-ethnic democracy. In both the Republican Party and the country at large, CAFs remain a minority. We can only hope they stay that way. When it comes to America First, democracy comes second, if at all.